So, I hear we're into some of the same stuff.
You are about to join the revolution.
The time has come. Your world will never be the same. You are listening to a sophisticated conversation.
Greetings and welcome to episode number 47 of the podcast Revolution. I am your host, Jon, and joining me via Skype is my friend Tab. Tab, how are you?
Pretty good.
Tab is the foreign intern on the show.
Yes, can't wait to get back my old position as the foreign correspondent, but I have to earn it.
You have to earn it. You let everybody down. So now you need to reclaim your place as foreign correspondent.
Don't worry, I have aspirations for greatness, and I will not let this small setback stop my dreams.
All right, so it's been a couple weeks since we last did an episode. I've seen some bad movies. You've been to some bad places. Why don't you tell us about some of the places you've been?
Well, I don't know about... Yeah. So yesterday I went to Bergen-Belsen, which was the worst concentration camp that was liberated by the British forces. Auschwitz, of course, was liberated by the Russians. And it was an interesting historical site. What people don't really realize is it's not like you go there and there's all these, camps and you can see like the footprints of the dead Jews or anything like that. It's really just, it's not even like there's ruins. It's really just like there were places where there were just full-on small forests growing where there used to be buildings. So really, the visual elements of it are mostly just through photographs and memorial stuff.
Right. And did you feel a certain aura when you were there? Or?
No, not at all. I have to say I was not disappointed, but just it lacked. The place had a kind of a strong, not a, as you put it, but it definitely did have certain elements of making you feel a certain way, but it wasn't profound. Not how you kind of want something like that to be. Something you really want to like go there and just feel just like awful, and it was more just kind of like you were like, wow, I kind of wish this place, had more of that impact. Kind
of like the Holocaust Museum in Washington D.C.
I've actually never been to that.
Yeah, I went when I was in 8th grade. It from what I remember, it was pretty moving. They had the room with all the shoes that's supposed to represent all the people and everything. But I can't remember too much from it.
Yeah, like there's a whole. It's sort of a it's actually technically like the largest Jewish graveyard because it's got all these mass graves that are primarily Jews. And so one thing I find really odd though is the first thing I'm going to say isn't the odd part. The odd part comes after this, but so all the memorials and like memorial graves, stones and stuff have stones put on top of them. But the weird thing was, most people in my group didn't know what that was. John, are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, it's a Jewish thing, and I honestly don't know the details well enough to be able to elaborate too much on it, but you place stones on the graves of the dead as a sort of a show of respect. As I said, I really don't understand the exact custom behind it, but that's a very traditional Jewish thing, and I'm very familiar with it because I'm half Jewish, and so my grandparents, who on my father's side, whenever we would visit their graves, there, it was in a Jewish cemetery. So I've grown up being used to that, as recognizing that. So it's odd as a slightly Jewish person that people tend to be completely ignorant of things that I just know,
No, it's not true. Don't even ask.
So,
go ahead.
Go ahead. All right. Do you think Kyle or Frenchie, and Frenchie hasn't been heard on the show, but that's on the lost episode. But do you think they could learn? They could get rid of their ignorance through going to a place like this.
I would hope so.
And all right.
The thing I found odd is that it was one of those things where even before I went, I already knew like how I was going to feel about it. It's a very solemn place, and so it's kind of odd when you're there with a group of say 30 other people, and they're almost treating it like it's just like a tourist spot, not a tourist spot, but like I found there's a lot of people who would like take photos of things and then like ooh photo and they'd smile and it's like what the hell are you smiling for? This is a concentration camp memorial. Or people would just be like having
at the camera. Look where I am.
or people would have idle conversations, like about whatever, the kind of conversations you'd have like with your friends wherever you are, where you're just making jokes, but it's like this isn't the kind of place where you should be doing anything that should make you feel good about yourself.
What's the deal with traffic?
So it was kind of one of those things where I felt like some people, I don't know, weren't like it was one of those things. I brought my camera with me, but I took a couple photos, but then decided to just delete them because it's just one of those things like you don't. Why would you take photos of this sort of thing? Like you don't need to take photos.
This guy's hurt.
Yeah, but I think we have delved into my foreign intern role enough, and I think I tend to kind of sour the show's warm buzz whenever I
all right, so
Jewish stuff on it.
So just wrapping up on this, would you recommend that our listeners visit this site if they're in Germany?
If you're in Germany and you've got the time and you're nearby, definitely. And you can arrange for a tour in English. And yeah, I mean, it's especially educational if you, unlike, I feel like most, like John, when you were in like middle school, didn't you have like a whole, like I think in like your English course or whatever, you'd have like a whole section talking about the Holocaust?
Yeah, in the social studies class.
So, yeah, exactly. So like, I feel like most Americans that are our generation have been brought up on knowing everything about the Holocaust. So to a certain extent, it isn't that it's not that profound. It's not like you're learning these amazing truths. It's like, oh my goodness, what is this Holocaust thing? I haven't heard of this. Unlike some people. So, but yeah, I think it's if you're in Germany, and if you're there long enough, you really don't have an excuse not to go to something like this.
So yesterday, you told me that you got kicked out for a certain reason.
No, we're not going into that. That was an inappropriate joke. In fact, cut this small section from the actual podcast. That joke was inappropriate.
You did not get kicked out. That is all. Yes. You kicked yourself out.
That's enough.
Moving on. So, actually, last night I was playing Xbox with Kyle and Captain J. Russ, and we were playing against another team in hockey, and they had a person who was away from his controller, but the game doesn't pause. So, in hockey, I'm not sure if you're familiar with offsides, but Kyle just kept pushing their guy offside so they couldn't do anything.
Right.
And so, after the game, their guy sent us a message, and he was like calling us garbage and everything. And Kyle just went all out on him, and they had a message war for about an hour and a half.
Wow, that's sad. I'm actually surprised nowadays more and more often they have things where essentially if you're idle for long enough, it just until you come back, it just turns you into a computer. I know Left 4 Dead has that. I don't know if anything else has that, but I think it's a pretty smart enough thing to do. Although it does require that the game, because I mean, with a game like hockey, half the players are controlled by AI, so it's not hard to just turn a human controlled into an AI, right?
True.
Because you've already got the program for it. So,
someone should contact EA Games.
Yeah, I think someone needs to contact EA Games for a bunch of things besides that.
True. But yeah, it was fun. And Kyle and Captain J. Russ pride themselves on having a low gamer score, a gamer preference. As of right now, they both are at 80% unfavorable.
Wow.
And
80% unfavorable. They must just constantly harass people.
Well, Kyle likes to flame them and troll them through messages and everything. J. Ross just likes to keep killing them in absurd ways in battlefield and give them no chance to do anything. He just likes to C4 stairs, so whenever people come up the stairs, he blows them up. It's kind of like the old proximity mine in Bond.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like how it's at this point, it's like when you say Bond, it's like, which Bond game? There's a whole bunch of them for the PS2. It's like, shut the fuck up, GoldenEye. Go back to the children.
Yeah, there's only one James Bond game that matters.
2 if you include Perfect Dark.
True, but that's...
Also known as GoldenEye 2.
Right.
GoldenEye.
Alright, looks like it's time for a break, so we'll be right back after this.
I'm sorry.
Arnold, what's so funny?
Oh, nothing. I'm just laughing to me. Welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order?
I'd like a water.
A water? What? Okay.
That's weird. You usually get mad at me when I order a water.
Yeah, but now I'm just too sad to get angry.
Sad? What's wrong, Ronald?
Didn't you hear about the murder?
Murder? No.
This kid came in and he ordered a water, and then the hamburger came out of nowhere and
The hamburger did what?
he killed him, and then he made me cut the kid up and put him inside a burger.
That's awful. Alright, do you have my water?
Oh, let me get that for you. Here's your water.
Alright, bye. I don't care about you.
Bye.
Excuse me. Are you Ronald McDonald?
Yes.
We're here representing Grimace, and you are the defendant now in a suit.
What?
You are being sued for making Grimace a fat fuck.
What do you mean? How did
Look
I
at
make
Grimace, he's fucking fat, and you feed him out of the trash at the end of every shift. We have pictures.
Well, that's not our fault. He's in the dumpster when we throw the excess food away. How can we stop him from eating?
That's it. I've had enough of you. We're taking you down to the station. And this is completely out of protocol, but get in the cuffs. Get in the cuffs.
You can't do this.
Shut up! Your head down. Right,
Oh, you're hitting me.
What is this in your pocket? How do you explain this, sir?
What is it? I don't know what you're talking about.
Go, let's rub in your face.
Oh my goodness. What is... I don't even want to know what this is, but I feel terrible.
Alright, and, what's this red stuff on the ground right here?
My blood? Because you hit me in the back of the head with your...
No, this stuff's been here for a couple of weeks. What is this?
It might be blood from when that kid got murdered.
Murdered? At McDonald's?
It wasn't me, it was the hamburglar. He cut
Nobody
him.
cleaned it up. Nobody cleaned it up.
I had to go to therapy for 3 weeks just to be able...
Alright, clean it with your tongue.
Amy, stop hitting me! Oh my god! How are you able to do this? You're not even a police officer. You're just the guy who informs me that I'm being sued.
Alright, that's because we made Grimace fat. Oh look, Grimace is coming in the store right now. Hey, Ronald.
Why are you doing this? Why is this man beating me?
Ronald, I'm hungry. Can you get me a Big Mac?
I'm going to do this, but only because you're my friend. You have a problem.
Give me some food, Ronald.
Here's a McFlurry that I poured directly onto a hamburger to make it easier for you to swallow.
I love you. I love McDonald's.
McDonald's.
All right, and we're back. All right, wasn't that a great commercial for McDonald's? Our great sponsor. Thank you, McDonald's.
Yeah, I think it's great that they're approaching these serious issues in their commercials.
So, as you know, Eric used to be the co-host on this show, but he hasn't been on in a while. And he's not coming back today, so don't get your hopes up. But last week I went to the movies with him, and he was very excited. And for my birthday, he brought me to see Sucker Punch, which I did not want to see. But he really wanted to see it, so we saw Sucker Punch. It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in theaters. Eric absolutely loved it. It was pretty much... They found a way to make hot girls doing cool things very boring. Lots of explosions, lots of action. No reason for anything. The movie made no sense. And there's people who try to defend it, but they're all Zack Snyder, like, dick suckers. And Zack Snyder kind of sucks. Can I get an amen, Tab? Can I get an amen that Zack Snyder sucks?
Yeah, amen.
Yeah, it seems like he focuses more on how a movie looks than, like, the basic storytelling elements. And
he seems to be under the impression that strong visuals make good movies. Like, seems to be ignoring the fact that movies need to be good in order to be good.
Like, if you had his movies on mute and just watch them, they kind of look cool, or kind of like a video game, but that's about it. Like, I have no idea what he's going to do with Superman. Because I heard in an interview that he's going to try to make Superman not as stylized and more realistic. So that's pretty much just going to be him showing how poor of a filmmaker he is.
I don't fully understand why they need to reboot Superman. They just made a new movie.
I don't know. Probably just to get more money. They don't actually care.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, it's to get more money. I keep forgetting that that's like the only thing they give a shit about.
Right, in Hollywood, most movies get made because the producers say, "Can we make a toy off of this?" Or lots of movies. All right, so it's been a couple weeks since we've done the show, and we did get an email from Ramon, and Tab, I'll forward it over to you. Just let me know once you get it in your box.
Sure. Yeah, my email's been a little weird, so it might take a minute.
Okay, but I'll continue ranting about Sucker Punch. But without spoiling the movie, I couldn't spoil this movie even if I wanted to because I don't know what happened. It was terrible. Don't see Sucker Punch. And like after we ended the movie, one of the people in our group asked Eric if he liked the movie, and Eric said, "Well, my penis liked it." So,
wow.
So
that's an honest answer.
That made it put us under the impression that he didn't actually like the movie, but he found it visually, aesthetically pleasing. But then later he kept talking about how good the movie was. So, but then again, Eric's brain is controlled by his penis, so that explains a lot.
Okay, I just got this email from you, and it's something. Let me just So I'll read it?
Yes.
Okay. Dear JT and the crew, I took your advice and started to focus more on myself than on my relationships, especially since whenever I slept with my girlfriends, I'd always wet the bed. Now I'm focusing on my new hobby, hunting, but I do not know how to hunt, so I've been trying to figure it out on my own. So far, what I've been doing is putting bear traps in my backyard, and whenever animals get catched, I cut off their legs and torture them to death, slowly, deliciously. Do you have any suggestions on how I could keep the animals alive for longer after I saw off their legs, the blood flowing like a delicious nectar by itself? Ramon, Ramon, Ramon. It actually says Ramon 3 times.
Ramon, Ramon, Ramon.
Yes.
Well,
just no spaces or anything.
Well, we're glad you're focusing more on yourself, Ramon. But this doesn't seem to be the direction that we were anticipating you'd go.
Yeah. How about we just try and point him in the right direction? Because I guess he's right. He does not know how to hunt. Might I suggest? I was almost gonna say that he should maybe get a gun first, and I realized that might not be the best advice.
No, maybe he should be like Jumbo Joe and get a bow and arrow.
No, I feel like any type of projectile weapon really might not be the best thing for his hobby. You know what I'm saying, John?
How about if he goes to the arcade and plays Big Buck Hunter?
Yeah. Or maybe he could take up paintball.
Paintball?
I don't know though. That might train him to hunt humans. But yeah, maybe go online and look up hunting. Maybe that'll give you some information, Ramon.
Let's maybe go to a class, find some outdoor adventurists nearby who could assist you and teach you.
Yeah,
how
go
to
to like a Cabela's or something. You know, they've got experts and stuff. Or if you live in Maine, you could go to Kittery Trading Post. I'm sure they could help you out.
But we are glad you're going the right direction, Rowan. But slaughtering animals and draining them of their blood and torturing them isn't really the direction we were wanting you to go.
Yes.
But there's always stamp collecting, Ramon. Don't forget about the stamps.
Yeah, you could collect stamps. That's not a bad idea.
And did he say he still wets the bed or just when he had the girlfriends?
It wasn't really clear.
Okay, but hopefully you get that worked out, Ramon, because that could be a nagging problem for many reasons.
I'm honestly surprised that hasn't been brought up before, because in all of his previous problems, I mean, you'd think that would come up as well.
Well, most of his other problems were dealing with other people. Now he's getting more internalized and actually reaching out about himself.
Is good thing, bad thing? We'll see in time.
Yes. All right, Ramon, please keep in touch with us, and we're here to help. Oh my. All right, so Tab, have you been hunting?
Say again?
Have you been hunting lately?
No. Should I have?
No. How about Pokemon hunting?
No. It's been a little while since I've hunted for Pokemon.
Actually, it's funny. Speaking of Pokemon, in the NHL game, you set when you play online with other people as a team. Like when I play with J. Russ and Kyle, we each have our own individual players, and my guy's name is Dark Pokemon, and he's a 6'4" African individual with long blonde dreadlocks and a big bushy blonde beard. And all I do is fight people and get in Pokemon battles, and the Dark Pokemon wins 90% of the fights that he gets in.
That's great. You get in Pokemon battles on the ice.
Like people see Pokemon and they flee. What's that?
So would you say that your dude is an ice type Pokemon, or
Yes.
is he a type that's strong against ice types?
He is very strong against ice types. He's pretty much the psychic Pokemon, but he's dark Pokemon. He's a dark type Pokemon.
Oh.
That is his first name. And his name
kind of racist.
Well, no, that's his type.
Why do dark Pokemon gotta be black? You racist, Pokemon, you racist.
His name was Dirty Pokemon for a brief period, but I switched it to Dark Pokemon.
Oh, so he was like a ground type.
Right.
Or a jungle type, as you might put it.
But he induces fear in the opponents. But it's funny, most of the people's names are like, it's like, I'm so awesome, or like, I'm the greatest, and then it's just Dark Pokemon.
That'd be great, just be like, hey, my name's Tom, but everybody calls me Ash Ketchum. Why? Because I'm always getting in Pokemon fights. Oh yeah! And then you punch him in the face.
And Frenchie's name in hockey was Dirty Sanchez, but they changed it to just profane name. So he changed his name to Dirty Sabchez. Yes.
Oh.
Yes, video game culture is very important nowadays.
Yes.
So, Tab, what's the most abuse you've ever seen in a video game context?
Abuse in a video game context?
Yes. like in the online realm?
Ooh, I don't know. Typically, when I play online, if we're dealing with someone who is a complete douchebag, usually, one of my friends would be hosting, so we just boot them. So we usually didn't have to deal with that sort of thing. But I think the closest thing we come to abuse is just the abuse we give each other for just, that friendly banter kind of abuse.
Tab, have you ever played the role of a troll?
Never in a serious way, in the sense that I've mostly just trolled my friends. So it's kind of one of those things where, like, obviously trolling.
Because you're familiar with the game Left 4 Dead, obviously.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, it's a game where you go around as 4 surviving humans and you kill lots and lots of zombies. And there's a mode in that that you play online when you try to collect gas cans and pour it in a car or whatever. And the other team is the zombies. So what we do is me and my friends would start a game, and Kyle and one other friend would join the other team, and they would attempt to the team with all the humans on it would try to collect the gas cans, obviously, and Kyle as the zombies. Well, when Kyle was the zombies, he just wouldn't hurt the humans. But when Kyle was the humans with the other people, he would purposely destroy the gas cans so they couldn't be put in the car, and he'd kill his teammates. But they would try to boot him, but because there was another one of us on his team, that person could decline the boot, so Kyle would be able to stay. So one time he did this for 3 hours straight. He'd put one gas can in to make it look like he was friendly. Then when his teammates would do it, he'd light them on fire. And since we have the headsets, he'd communicate with us and let us know where he is, or he'd let us know just what's going on. And we'd say, "Oh, Kyle, I'm a zombie, don't shoot me." So he'd leave us alone. Like, if I was on the other team, I'd be pretty frustrated.
Like, I have to say, that's some really successful trolling. Like, that's brilliant.
Yes.
Like, the placement of your guys, that way that he can never be booted, that's so smart.
Yes, we've mastered the art of pissing people off. And then, like, he'd start to try to boot other players for trying to boot him. And yes, and usually he wouldn't trash talk them, but sometimes in the lobby post game, he'd mix it up with them and tell them that they're the worst teammates ever. You're like, we didn't win a single match thanks to you guys.
That's great.
And people, they just feed right into it.
It's like a wheat thresher.
Exactly. But yes, sometimes trolling can be fun.
Sometimes? You mean all times?
And another thing that's very annoying, I'm just going to go on a rant about online etiquette. When we play against people in NHL, each team is allowed a couple pauses per game. So sometimes the other team will pause it and just leave it paused until the time expires for like 30 seconds. And then when a team does that, usually K-Cap gets angry and he just pauses right back, even though he doesn't have to go to the menu or anything. And he makes the time run out just to piss them off. And it works. Yes.
A friend of mine a while back, he kind of came to me with the question. I don't know why he came to me with it, but he was like, why, on message boards and all that sort of stuff, they're like, why are trolls, like, able to troll people? Like, at this point, like, especially on things like internet message boards, like, everyone knows what trolls are, and they're easily recognizable. So how is it that, like, people still allow themselves to be trolled?
Well, it's also funny on, like, more general message boards, like on Yahoo, for instance, at the end of an article when people just type stuff. And then, like, people react so heavily to whatever anyone says.
And, well, so what I kind of tried to explain to him was one of the things where, like, it's not that we want to be trolled. It's only like we allow ourselves to be trolled, so the trolls will like only do that. It's kind of like if we don't let them troll us, like if we don't let them do their normal trolling thing, then like God knows what will happen.
And it's funny, at the end of, like, for instance, any political article, there'll just be people at the bottom just saying random things about bashing whoever.
I don't understand. I don't understand why anything has a comment section. I feel like the comment section is the most like banal idea.
But the worst is, for, like, in the case of a tragedy, let's say some kid gets bullied and kills himself, people at the bottom might say, like, that kid deserved it. Like, and then...
No, but like first off, the news doesn't need a comment section. It's the news. Follow up, like, let's say you're on like a web comic or even just like a site that aggregates humorous stuff, like say the Daily What, Geekosystem, anything like that. And then there's the comment section, and it's like, and it's never like a really like it's never a good comment. There are no good. Oh, so funny, or like that was funny, but here's something else. It's like nobody gives a shit. Like if you say this is funny, like no fucking shit. No wonder it's here. Wow, this guy needs to get a Pulitzer for that comment.
Yes. All right, looks like it's time for a break, so we'll be right back.
Thank you for calling information. This is Luxurio. How can I help you?
Hello, Luxurio. I am visiting New Hampshire for a brief period of time, and I like to go to brothel. Do you know any brothels?
Yes, I know several brothels. In fact, I own one. It's a place called Luxurio's Pleasure Palace.
Okay, can you send me the address via email?
Yes, I will do that through my phone right now. Beep boop 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 beep boop boop. Because we know your email through your phone.
Very good information, thank you. Alright, I will pull this up on my website right now. I'm looking. It says no pets allowed except for service pets. What is service pet?
You know,
Excuse me?
You know, a seeing eye dog, if you're blind or something.
Oh, I am not blind, so, but I have a dog. What can I do with my dog?
Well,
I can't leave it at home because I have a brother who will shoot it if he sees it.
oh, well, what I think you should do is call Paw to Paw Promise.
Paw to Paw Promise?
Yes, Paw to Paw Promise. It's this wonderful service. They watch your pets while you do whatever, for a day, for a night, for 3 nights, for 5 weeks.
Okay, good, because I can't chain my dog outside of the club because it is allergic to people with herpes. And I have trained it to bite them on sight.
Wait, you've trained it to, it's allergic, but you train it to bite people that it's allergic to?
Well, when they are dead, they are no longer infectious. I am a scientist, I know.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry, I should have known that. I'm information.
Yes, that's right.
So I should suggest you should bring your dog to you should call Paw to Paw Promise to watch your dog.
Alright, because I do not want my brother to shoot the dog. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand that you don't want your brother to shoot your dog or for your dog.
When we're back in New Jersey, that's common practice, but not up here when in the less civilized places.
Wait, if you live in New Jersey where they shoot dogs, why do you have a dog?
Because I'm not in New Jersey, you freaking you don't even know anything. Goodbye.
Alright, we are back. Alright, so it's a lovely afternoon right now here in New Hampshire. How's the weather over there, Tab? No one cares. Alright. Tab, what do you want to recommend this week?
Wait, how is it a lovely afternoon?
Well,
because it's afternoon.
Alright, fine. It's lovely before noon. I've just been up for like 5 hours already, so it feels like it's before noon.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so, Tab, what do you want to recommend?
What?
What topic? What's this week's topic?
Oh, for recommendations?
Yes.
Old TV shows.
Old TV shows?
Not too old.
Okay.
But old.
Alright, shoot. You go first.
I'm gonna recommend Batman Beyond.
Okay. Was that the one that was on the Warner Brothers network?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
what?
it's
No.
a Batman thing, so
True.
of course it is.
What do you recommend about this show?
Well, when I grew up, I watched a lot of Batman the Animated Series, which Batman Beyond is essentially a sequel to. It's a sequel series. But I watched this a lot when I was a teenager, and it's a pretty decent show. And it, if you like Batman and you grew up in the 90s/early 2000s, you'll probably like it.
Is this the one where Batman or Robin changes to Nightwing or whatever it is?
No, you were thinking of the fourth season of the animated series.
Ah, okay. So this is a good series. Do you know about how many episodes it has or seasons?
I want to say 2 or 3 seasons. I'm not entirely sure. I think 2 seasons.
But it's true to the comics?
No. This isn't a comic. This is independent of the comics. Just a quick explanation. Essentially, there's the normal comic stuff, like the whole continuity of that, and then there's the animated series, and they all have their own continuity. And so this is essentially takes place in the future of the setting of the Batman the Animated Series. Although there's actually now a new ongoing comic book series that's covering stuff that took place after Batman Beyond.
Interesting.
So it's jumping back and forth.
Very nice. I like. All right, so this week I will recommend a show that's almost 20 years old, believe it or not, is The X-Files. And basically, for those of you who don't know, The X-Files is a show where Mulder and Scully are FBI agents, and they investigate different paranormal occurrences. And it's kind of like Scooby-Doo in the sense that each week there's a different monster that they have to find.
Although later on in the show it gets a little bit more
there's more continuity.
Yeah, it gets a little bit more kind of season-wide arcs.
Okay. But especially early on, it's more self-contained episodes. So you don't need to see everyone in order to know what's going on.
Right.
But
which I think that's all very. I think when they do that, it makes shows better. But then it tends to lend itself towards just running on and on and on forever, like certain shows that I won't mention by name.
Okay. Are you thinking of a certain Yellow show?
A Yellow show and another show that I feel is often compared to the Yellow show.
Okay. I think I know where you're going. Actually, obviously I know where you're going. But, yes, the X-Files and Batman Beyond. So, I know X-Files is available on Netflix, and I know some iterations of Batman are. I'm not sure exactly about Batman Beyond.
If Batman the Animated Series is on, then probably Batman Beyond is too, because they're both from Warner Brothers. Just before we finish up, I actually find it interesting when Marvel got purchased by Disney, everybody made a big deal of it. But they seem to have forgotten that, 15, 20 years earlier, Warner Brothers bought DC. In fact, when I was little, I remember there being Happy Meal toys where it was like Donald Duck dressed up as Batman or Bugs Bunny, and you could put a Superman costume on him. So the whole Wolverine, Mickey Mouse, that isn't creative at all. Shut the fuck up.
Wolverine. I never really got into anything Marvel related. So the whole Avengers movie coming out this year doesn't excite me at all.
No, I think the Avengers movie's coming out in a couple of years. I think the Captain America one's coming out this year.
That's right. Well, either way, none of them really excite me.
They don't excite me either. That's just because, no comic books made into movies have ever excited me. So
you seem to enjoy The Dark Knight.
It was okay.
I remember on the way home from the theater, you hung out the car window holding a gun and yelled, "I'm the Joker! I'm the Joker!"
I'm going to plead the fifth on that one.
All right, maybe you didn't have the gun. But, yes. So, are there any movies coming out soon that you look forward to?
No.
Now that I think about it, I can't really think of any that are coming out in the near future. Maybe The Hobbit, which is coming out in a long time.
You mean The Hobbit Part 1?
The Hobbit Part 1, yes. They're pulling a Harry Potter. And they say it's so they can get everything in there, which might be true, because he does seem passionate about The Hobbit. But the studio, obviously, wants more money.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing that kind of bugs me, is back in the day, if you had a epic story that you wanted to tell, you just made one long movie, and you put an intermission in it, like in the old days, like in theaters. You know, like stage theaters. And nowadays, people apparently are too lazy to sit through a long movie, but they don't have an issue with going to 7 movies or 8 movies. I'm not really like it's this whole thing like, oh, Americans have such a short attention span. It's like, then why the fuck do they watch so much television?
Good question. So actually, this brings me to, but I want to continue the show a little bit longer, talking about short attention spans. All right, so interesting statistic that I saw that made me very happy is that in the past 10 years, attendance in youth baseball has dropped 25%. And this has a lot of like baseball like fans and pundits worried about the future of baseball because kids aren't interested in baseball anymore. And they're wondering why that is. Some of them attribute it to America's short attention span, and but they say that Americans are lazy now, but that's counteracted by the fact that attendance in youth hockey has gone up 38%, and youth football has gone up 22%, and lacrosse, they don't have the numbers for that, but that's probably gone up 5,000%.
Well, as regards the whole baseball thing, I have my own theory that I quickly thought up was when you were younger, your parents made you go outside a lot, right?
Right.
You know, just go out and play. You know, it's like go outside, come back in a couple hours for dinner or whatever. That doesn't happen anymore. You're always supervised or indoors. When I was younger, I mean, I grew up playing video games a lot, but my parents also made me go outside a lot, so I was doing lots of exercise. And baseball is, it's a no contact game that you can play with. Hell, you can play with 2 people, pitcher and a person with the bat.
Yep. Or you can just play catch.
Yeah. And nowadays, I feel like it's less and less likely that a bunch of kids are going to go and find some place that's got enough space to play baseball. And of course, they're not going to play on the street because nobody plays in the streets anymore. I mean, I lived in a kind of not a cul-de-sac, but kind of a side road area, so it wasn't like we had a lot of traffic. But if we wanted to play in the street, it was like, what's the big deal? Exactly. Of course. So that if you don't have kids playing baseball on their own, then you're not going to have the interest in little league or any of that sort of stuff, or minor leagues or anything like that. And so there you go.
Well, it's funny, like playing baseball with 1 or 2 other friends is fun. You're always doing something. But if you're playing an actual game, 90% of the time you're just standing around doing nothing. Like especially being in the outfield, you're literally just watching and maybe moving around for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, video game baseball is a lot more fun than real baseball.
Well, yeah, because you're doing everything.
Exactly. So, and kids would rather play it in a video game than in real life, and I don't blame them.
I mean, heck, even I remember playing baseball video games for like the Super NES. I think it was like what's his name? Ken Griffey Jr., one of those games.
Those are fun games.
Played those yeah, like, I mean, again, I feel like I have to keep mentioning this for some reason, but, didn't really like sports, but sport video games I didn't have much of an issue with.
Yeah, like, and Mario Baseball, it's a little wacky, but it's fun. But real baseball is boring in almost every regard. And when you're batting, if your team's batting, you're still just standing around 90% of the time. It's only when you're actually batting that you're doing something.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I don't really understand the appeal of playing baseball. We've mentioned before in a previous show how the appeal of watching baseball is that you're not really watching it, you're just there with some people and it's a thing to do.
Right. Because baseball isn't... Like, there are people who play baseball who are athletic, but you don't have to be athletic to play baseball. And that could be a draw for some people, but you literally don't need to be fast to swing a bat. All right, to run to the bases, it's better if you're faster, but you don't have to be. There's some larger Americans who play that. Is there any baseball news over in Germany that you're aware of? Do they care about baseball at all?
No, not at all.
Good.
There's a small amount of interest in. Well, I'm biased because I'm not around Germans. I'm around an international, environment. So I actually know a lot of Indians and Pakistanis, and so they're of course very excited about cricket, which just finished up. So it was all they were talking about.
India just won the Cricket World Cup.
I mean, they were talking about enough that even I knew who was going to be playing in the next couple of days because they were constantly talking about it. But baseball I don't think it has any following here.
Good.
I know. Although apparently, the city I'm in has its own basketball team, which I just kind of find odd.
Huh, that's interesting.
It's just difficult to imagine like anywhere else playing basketball. I don't know why.
But yes, when I'm an adult, or if I have 12 boys like Eric wants to, if any of them want to play baseball, I'll throw a baseball at them and say, "Do you still want to play?" Like I'll hit them in the head really hard.
Well, I think at least in the little league thing, it ideally should do a good job of giving the kids a lot of exercise, because in practice they're not just playing baseball; they're running around a lot.
Right.
And also, to a certain extent, it develops team building skills without also requiring you being good.
But the thing about baseball is you don't ever really play as a team.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it doesn't actually require you to work well as a team. It just creates a team. It creates a community.
Right.
I'm not necessarily going, because of this, baseball is the greatest thing ever created. I'm not trying to make a claim that.
But yeah, if I was being, I don't want to say cheap, but if I didn't want my kid to play an expensive sport but still get have a good activity and everything, I'd probably have them play soccer. But
not a bad idea.
But I'd probably have my kid play hockey or football instead, or whatever they want to play. But I'd strongly encourage them not to play baseball, because I'd tell them I wouldn't go to their games.
My brother played baseball, and I had to go to his games. He also played basketball, and I had to go to those games too. I hated going to them. And with my parents, their argument was, when you do a thing, he'll go to those, which was such a bullshit promise. Because the only sport I ever did do was I did judo for several years. And so, every once in a while, and at that point, my brother was almost in college. So it wasn't like a real payback, and I didn't give a shit if he was there. So it wasn't like, oh, how great it is that he's here. Now I understand why I had to go to his games. No.
Well, what was better, the basketball games that he played in, or the baseball ones? Actually, I'd probably say baseball, because were you sitting in the stands, or were you able to walk around the field and do whatever you wanted?
With the baseball games, there weren't really stands. We were just kind of sitting on the grass and on a picnic blanket.
Okay.
But the thing I remember is that at one point for when my brother played basketball, there's one year where my parents essentially were like, okay, we're going to go to the store. You get to buy one Game Boy game. And that's what you get to play at the games. And that was sick. I was like, oh, sweet. I got Mega Man 2, Dr. Wily's Revenge. Badass. And then there's one summer for baseball where every game, my parents had a bag full of the stuff to entertain me. And every week there's one new issue of, every time there's a game, I got a new issue of Spider-Man and some Crazy Bones, which are the stupidest thing ever, but at the time I was a dumb kid, so I was like, yeah, Crazy Bones.
I used to enjoy Crazy Bones. But
I know there was some sort of game, but there was no one for me to play it with, so it was just alright, I've got a bunch of Crazy Bones, sweet.
Alright, so wrapping up, I next time Eric's on the show, I want to bring this issue up with him and see how depressed he is that baseball is losing its luster, because I know he's a diehard fan. All right. So, Tab, any closing statements?
Nope.
All right. I guess I'll close by thanking all of our fans for listening. I know you're out there despite the dearth of emails, but I would like to thank Ramon for his continued support of the show, and we hope that he continues to better himself in productive ways to society. And I'd like to thank you, Tab, for joining me on the show today. And I'd like to thank myself, because without me, the show's not possible. So, Tab, say goodbye.
Bye.
All right, and all right, bye, everybody. Have fun.